Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. I'm your host Harpreet Singh from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. In today's program, we'll be talking to Mr. Dileep Nigam, who is a well-known motivational speaker. And the topic for which we're going to discuss on an important issue today is how to discover the compass in your life and live by it. Many times we are directionless. We don't know which direction we should adopt. So what are those ingredients and steps which we need to follow so that we can be successful? Let's get over to Mr. Dileep Nigam and continue with the discussion. Dileep Nigam ji, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Great, absolutely great.
Wonderful. So today we would like to know from your experience and from your research, many times in life, you want to achieve something, but you are directionless. You don't know which direction you need to adopt. So if you can take us on this journey and make us understand how to find the compass in our life and live by it.
Absolutely, Harpreet, it's a very interesting topic which I would love to talk about and share with our audience. Now, I want to share a few perspectives before really coming to what exactly is the compass of life. Now, because people must be thinking, what are we going to talk about? What is compass of life? Now, let's understand fundamentally that compass is something which gives us direction. And likewise, as you very well said, compass of life gives direction to your life or our life. But then, how do we discover that? Now, let me come back to my story. Like when we came to Canada in 2010, and the house we live in today has two large cedar trees, very large cedar trees, possibly planted, I don't know, 50 to 100 years back. Now, every summer or spring season, we have storms which make a lot of branches drop down on our front yard, and we got to clean that. But interesting part is for decades, these two trees are standing tall and strong. Nothing happens to them. But what allows them to stay strong without and while embracing numerous storms through this journey of a few decades are the roots, right? Now, there's a very interesting speaker. He's a motivational speaker come author. He's called Gaur Gopal Das.
Yeah.
I read some stories from him, some subjects from him, and I've been following him quite regularly. And he gives an analogy that life is like a tree. Our roots signify our value system. For a tree to stand strong, the roots have to be extremely deep. And if we give the analogy with a human life, the roots signify our value system. The trunk signifies our physical external visibility, or how are we presented and perceived by the people outside. And the crown of the tree is connected to the value we offer to the community or the fruits on the tree. What value do we offer to the community?
Right.
Now, that's an interesting analogy given by Gaur Gopal Das, and I want to really thank him for that. Now, considering the same perspective, we want to now go to it means if we want to stand tall and strong through the storms of life and also get a direction to life, what we all need to know our value system. Now, let me go back to when I was growing up. When I was growing up, I derived the values from my parents, my father, right? And I'm sure a lot of the listeners, they would also agree that they derive the value from their parents. When I was growing up, my father was a very hardworking person, and he used to work for civil services in Ministry of Defense in Government of India. Now, I have seen him work through the day. At those days, when he was working, he used to even bicycle about 15 to 20 kilometers to his office and
Right.
come back. And when we used to come back, we used to apply oil to his calf muscles every day, right? Now, there were times when he'll be tired, but you know what? He never compromised his own value system. And as you would agree, Harpiji, in the Indian civil services, at that time at least, there were always favors being granted or being attained by the people to get promoted.
Right.
My father said, no, I am not going to compromise on my integrity and my value system. I'll only grow through my own integrity, through my commitment and knowledge which I have attained. He believed in educating all our four siblings to the best possible manner, and that exactly is the reason that he created a family with four siblings, with four of us very well educated and very well placed in this life and career. I remember there were times when he will come back from home for a long time. He will come back from office, and within after 1 hour he'll sit down and start teaching senior secondary school girls for 1 hour. What was that? That was giving back to the community. I have also seen when I was growing up that a few sages will turn up at our door every Saturday or Sunday and ask for food.
Right.
And we'll invite them, wash their feet with water, serve them water to drink, and get them seated respectfully and serve them food.
Right.
Never once have we ever seen the sages being turned back. Sorry, we can't serve you today. Never ever in my lifetime I've seen that. Now, what was that? That that seeded in me the fundamental values which I even live by today. The value of integrity, the value of hard work, commitment, honesty, education, generosity, value of care and giving. All these got deep rooted into me. And that has given actually a direction to my life. And that exactly is nothing but the compass of life. It is extremely vital that we all have a direction to our life. And then we need to figure out those value system which are actually, I call them non-negotiables.
Absolutely.
There
Absolutely.
have to be non-negotiables in our life.
Very true. Well, the foundation that you are laying for this talk is very important. The universal values that we are very proud of. But with
Yep.
passage of time, these things are just becoming theoretical only. But if, as you said, these are non-negotiable in your life, definitely, you are more strong. You have the strength, the inner strength to face any challenge in life. But sidelining these, you might be, getting some kind of benefit momentarily, but ultimately you are not successful. That's a very important point that you have raised. And Dileepji, we'll go for a short break. We'll be back and we'll continue from
Sure.
here and learn more from you as to how to understand this compass of life. Because right
Yep.
today, life has become very fast, and we
Yep.
want to achieve success. We are forgetting the journey. We are just focused on the destination. But the means that we adopt to reach that destination many times get sidelined and not up to those non essential values that you're talking about. So we'll talk all
Yep.
about this after this short break.
ਹਰ ਰੰਗ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋ ਹਰ ਮਾਡਲ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਪਹਿਚਾਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਰਮ ਹੈ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਾਉਣਾ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਨੂੰ ਸੌਖਾ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਬਸੰਤ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਰਕੇ
During Vaisakhi, Sikhs around the world celebrate the establishment of the Khalsa. It is a time for faithful rededication to the core Sikh values of Seva, which is selfless service to others. Sikhs use this time to bless others, offering help and hope to those around them. As you continue to carry this inspiring legacy forward with generosity, I extend best wishes to all those celebrating. Happy Vaisakhi.
है जुल्म ढाने का अंदाज भी कितना हंसी हमारी जान पर बनाई है जब जब उसने अंगड़ाई ली कभी खामोश रहते हैं कभी शोर होता है मोहब्बत में शरारत का मजा कुछ और होता है दिल को जज्बात का तोहफा खामोशियों को बात का तोहफा खूबसूरती में जड़ी नजाकत अदाओं की चांद से मुखड़े को चांद सा तोहफा
भारत ज्वेलर्स सच्चे प्यार की चमक जैसा फाइल बिजनेस सेंटर सरी
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰੀ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਐਬਸਫੋਰਡ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਜਰਬੇਕਾਰ ਬਿਲਡਰ ਇੱਕ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿਵ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਰ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਉਸਾਰ ਸਕਣ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਸੰਦੀਪ 6048259295 ਉੱਤੇ
Once again, welcome back to the program. My guest today is Dileep Nigam, and we are talking about how to find the compass of your life. Before we get back to Mr. Dileep Nigam, this program is being brought to you with the support of AMC Insurance. If you're looking for home, auto, travel, business, life, or recreational insurance, they have 9 branches in the lower mainland to serve you, and they're open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. For more information, call 604 507 6666. Our next sponsor is Agnihotri Immigration. If you're a PR, you want to come to Canada, you want to know anything about immigration, you can be helped by Neera Agnihotri, who has been working as a certified immigration consultant since 2006. She assures you of reliable and honest information. For more information, call 604 597 2284. Let's get back over to Mr. Dileep Nigam and continue with the discussion and learn more as to what kind of values we need to incorporate in our life to really understand what is our purpose, how to live our life. Mr. Nigam, once again, welcome back. And what would you like to add to what we are discussing?
Yeah, just adding on to what I was talking about, I also learned the value of care for health. We have heard about health is wealth. All of us have
Right.
heard about it. But how many as practice are focused on nurturing or creating a good health for us? Exercising regularly, doing yoga, or any such thing which adds value and creates good health for us, it's very vital. I learned that from my parents. Regularly, he used to go for yoga or walk on a regular basis, and we used to follow him. Now, on the other side, my mother was a perfectionist, and she nurtured a family with lots of love and care, but her perfection was visible anything and everything she did. Now, those values of perfectionist or perfectionism, love and care for the family, and created a unified, happy, loving family we learned from our mother. Now, interestingly, till date, we follow those, and those values got ingrained into our subconscious mind, into our soul, into our character. And today, even after being, having a family, all our siblings are now grown up now. They have all children and grandchildren, but four of us are still very connected with each other. Every year I go to India, I make sure we meet all of each other, and spend some time lovingly. And that is the beauty of living by values which we earned or learned way back when we are growing up. Now, interesting part is the values you live by, you're going to inspire and influence your next generation also. We need to be very mindful. A person who doesn't follow integrity, hard work, and wants to have shortcuts to growth in life, his children are going to do exactly the same. They'll also look for shortcuts, maybe sometimes unethical shortcuts, to grow and excel in life. So it's very vital that you know your own value system, practice it diligently, and say, these are my non negotiables. Okay. Now, moving on to this subject, I will talk about another key important point is that the values must be aligned with the profession you pick. It's like this: the organization you work for, if your values are not aligned to that and the values of that organization, you'll find very discomforting stay at that place. Your value, for example, I just give you another story of my family that my son graduated from University of Toronto.
Right.
He started immediately after graduation, he got a job with TD Canada Trust. And he got a job for investment banking in TD Canada with a very hefty starting bonus. You know what? He said, sorry, I don't want it. Now, everybody, when they heard that, even at TD's recruitment team, was shocked and surprised. TD being a good employer and offering a very good package, a starting package, they were shocked to surprised to see my son rejecting that offer. What was the reason of that? He did not want to get into investment banking because he did not want to compromise his personal and family life, keep awake till 2 in the morning, and be busy with managing investment banking. That is the lifestyle investment bankers have today. Now, I'm not putting down any career or profile. People like that sometimes, but he did not want to pursue that because he had done his internship in investment banking section of TD, and he knew exactly what investment banking is all about. And he said, sorry. But he said, if there's any other position in asset management in TD, I would be willing to take it up. 2 months down the road, they had a position appearing for asset management. He appeared for that and he was picked for that. What was that? No compromise on the personal value systems, and he is very clear about his personal value system. When we moved to Vancouver, he was working in a very good position in TD in Toronto. He said, my parents are moving from all the way from Singapore to this place to be with us. Now, the question was whether you want to be in the financial hub and continue to be at Toronto, which is a financial hub, or come back to stay with your parents in Vancouver, who have come all the way from Singapore to be with you. Are you willing to leave the job? Are you willing to challenge yourself to pick another job in a financial sector in Vancouver, which is not a very dominant area of operation in Vancouver? He said no. I want to quit my job in Toronto, be with my family, because my parents took a major decision of moving to Vancouver to be with us. Again, alignment of values and priorities of life, right? These are just two examples which I wanted to share. Now, the question is, somebody will say, how do you find what are your values?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. But
How
to
do you find?
Yeah. Because, you have
So-
different perspectives. So, how to find the values you can align with?
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you find your own value system? Because before you focus on it and make it non-negotiable, you need to really know what's your value system. You might know a couple of them, but not really one. So I'll give you a 5-step process,
Okay.
especially to the listeners. How do you find your value system or a compass of life? The first method is identify your happiest moments in life and career. Identify your happiest moments in your life and career. Now, the question is recollect, write it down. Why it happened? What influenced it to be the happiest moment of life and career? How did you feel at that moment? What was the reason behind it? Write it down and take a note of that. That will give you a direction. What makes you happy doing something? Your personal values but offer you happiness, not external happiness, but inner happiness. You need to feel deeply happy when you pursue your value system, even if even if others are laughing at it. It's very vital. Okay, so this is the first technique of identifying your own value system, which is identify your happiest moments of life and career. Second technique, second mechanism is identify your proudest moments. For example, when my son graduated from University of Toronto, I know Harpreet, your son graduated recently and is going to start his residency. Do you think when you were meeting him, you went to this convocation, or you'll be meeting him when he starts his residency? How proud you feel about it?
Absolutely.
You know what? That proud is inside. Your possibly tears in your eyes when you see him enter the residency chapter of his career, right? Or the day he graduated. These are some of the proudest moments, and that actually attaches you and indicates your value system that education is the foundation for a great, successful life. There's no shortcut to success in life. It may take some time. The pace could be different, but fundamental to success in life is education. And you knew that that's your value system. That's the reason you graduated. Your children are doing so well in their life and career, right? And that offered you a proudest moments of life, right? So the second method to identify your value system is identify your proudest moments of life.
Absolutely. And as
What
you said,
exactly
direction
when you
is
feel
very
proud?
important. As you have said, Dileep ji.
Yes.
The direction has to be there. You might stumble, you might fail, but if you are having the direction,
Yep.
you will continue with the same passion and zeal to reach the destination what you have set yourself for. And definitely, you'll one day reach over there. Wonderful. So what are the other 3 points which you would like to recommend us? We'll go for a break, and once we are back, we'll continue with the discussion and learn more from you. So we'll be shortly back after this break.
ਘਰ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੀ ਪਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਬਦਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਨਵੇਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਰੇਮਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਤੱਕ, ਡ੍ਰੇਪਰੀ, ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗਸ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਡੈਕੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਅਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ SK ਹੋਮ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਹਕੀਕਤ 'ਚ ਬਦਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਕੌਰ 6048259295।
ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਓਨਰ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਸ ਦਾ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਾਰ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਖ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਸਰੀ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੋੜ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜੀਂਦੇ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਪੇਸ, ਮੋਡੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਫਿਊਲ ਐਫੀਸ਼ੀਐਂਸੀ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਟੌਰ।
ਵੈਨਕਾਸਾ ਟਾਈਲ ਅਤੇ ਸਟੋਨ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਾਈਲਸ, ਸਟੋਨ, ਮਾਰਬਲ, ਬੈਕਸਪਲੈਸ਼, ਮੋਜ਼ੇਕ ਆਦਿ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਟਾਲੀਅਨ, ਸਪੈਨਿਸ਼, ਚਾਈਨੀਜ਼ ਪੋਰਸਲਨ ਜਾਂ ਸਿਰੈਮਿਕ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਜਾਂ ਮਾਰਬਲ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਆਰਡਰ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਲੀਅਰੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਮਾਲਕ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਇੰਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ, ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ 13042 84 ਐਵਨਿਊ ਸਰੀ। ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 330 7363 604 330 7363।
हर रोज पूछे ये हवाएं, हम तो बता के हारे, क्यों जिक्र तेरा करते हैं हमसे तारे। हर रोज पूछे ये हवाएं, हम तो बता के हारे, क्यों जिक्र तेरा करते हैं हमसे तारे। अब किससे है तेरे होठों पे मेरे इज़हार आया, दिल को करार आया, तुझ पे है प्यार आया, पहली पहली बार आया ओ यारा।
ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰ ਮਦਰ ਡੇ ਗਾਲਾ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਜੀ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 7782378115। ਮਦਰਸ ਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਰਪਿਤ ਹੈ, ਇਹ 13 ਮਈ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਣ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ। 7782378115। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ। ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਕੰਪਸ ਲੱਭਣਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲ ਸਕੇ, ਜਿਸ ਮੰਜ਼ਿਲ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਦਲੀਪ ਨਿਗਮ ਜੀ। ਕੁਝ ਹੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਪਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੱਸ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਅਭਿਸ਼ੇਕ ਗਰੋਵਰ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ ਬ੍ਰੋਕਰ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਅਤੇ ਕਮਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ ਲੱਭ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਬੈਸਟ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਰੇਟਸ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਦੇਣ ਦਾ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਐਡਰੈਸ ਹੈ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਨੰਬਰ 104 and 105, 6678 152 Street, Surrey. For more information, you can call 604-786-1937, 604-786-1937. Let's get back, Mr. Dileep Nigam, and learn about the other 3 points which we need to learn so that we can find our true purpose. Yes, Mr. Nigam, what other points you would like to share with us?
So, the first I talked about the happiest moments, list down that. Second was the proudest moments.
Right.
And the third point is the moments when you felt extremely fulfilled. Now, happy moments and fulfilling moments are two different things. Now, just give an example to differentiate the two. When I started the journey of success coaching and executive coaching, I started my journey by giving a talk at Surrey School Board for I think secondary students, 6 or 12 lessons free of cost. And you know what? I did not expect anything in return. I was giving it just for adding value to our community. And till date, my intention has been to add value to the community. That's extremely fulfilling to me, right? When I was talking about sages turning up at my parents' place and we serving them food for my parents, that was a moment of fulfillment. They felt extreme fulfillment in that. There'll be numerous moments beyond happiness where you feel happy or you feel proud, but there are moments where you feel internally fulfilled. That's very important. So the third moment you need to identify and write down in a journal is moments when you felt fulfilled. And what is that? What is the feeling you got and why did you get that? And also give your direction about the values which you have inside you. Now, having done that, let me talk about the step fourth. And the step fourth is list down the top 10 values out of those elements of the three steps. What are the 10 steps? What are the 10 values which emerge distinctly visible to you out of the happiest moments, proudest moments, and fulfilling moments? Now, that will start connecting you, be it good education for your family, be it creating a loving family, be it honesty and integrity for whatever you do in life, no compromises at all, which will actually give you a non negotiable top 10 value system, and that will define your compass of life. But even before, after doing that, what you need to do, you need to basically identify the top five values out of that. Everything is
Right.
important. But to be able to register in your mind clearly, write down those 10 values clearly and put it somewhere where you can watch it clearly, regularly, so that it reminds you of your value system. What happens in the hustle bustle of life? We do tend to forget our value system. And in the compromising situation, like in the pressured life we have today, or the disruptions we face in life or challenges we face in life, we do tend to compromise on value system. So we need to really refine and keep reminding our head and mind that this is my non-negotiable period. I remember I was sitting in one of my large meetings, high level meetings in my last job. And since I was leading commercial and contracts elements of the company, so there was a divisional manager, the top post person sitting there in that meeting. And the contractor was pressing for his deductible or whatever they call it deductible, which every invoice we deduct. And it should be released only when all the punch list has been cleared. Now there are 10 people in that, and the contracts manager, I as a contracts manager, I was the leading the show. And my divisional manager and my vice president asked me this question. I don't mind releasing it, although the punch list has not yet been cleared. Mr. Dilip, what do you think about it? I said, I'm so sorry. While I would love to do that, but I would not do that. In front of 20 people, I said that I'm sorry, I would not be able to do that. As per the law, you're supposed to complete the punch list. Give me a certificate of completion of all the punch list of 25 items. Then
Right.
only I will release your deductible. Matter of principle
Right.
and no compromising situation. Irrespective of whether people laugh at it, without any fear, I took that decision, and divisional manager and vice president stood by what Dilip says, we'll go by that.
Right.
And that shows my integrity level as well as non-compromising situation with respect to principles of life and principles of conducting a contract. So it's very vital that we remind ourselves on and off what are my non-negotiables, and they should be dominant factor on the mind of our on the top of our mind.
Right.
The fifth item, which is which is as a part of identifying our value system, is prioritize and reaffirm your top values. We had to be very clear about prioritizing and reaffirming. I gave you just one example of reformation. Okay. Now I'll just give you another story, interesting story. I was last summer, I was jogging in the park, and I saw one young chap practicing basketball in the basketball court all alone by himself. So I stopped and I asked, let me ask you a question. Are you in the basketball team of your school? Or what inspires you to practice basketball by yourself, without anybody's help, all alone in this basketball court? You know what he said, Harpreet? He said, it's my passion towards good health
Right.
and it's a fun game for me. I love it. I'm not in that basketball team, but I love my health, and I feel this gives me a possibility of improving my health by
Right.
practicing this for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then I enjoy it. That
Interesting.
is called non-negotiable, and it just came
Absolutely.
out of the way. I just stopped and asked him this question. That's called prioritization. And if I don't jog, or if I don't complete about 7,000 steps every day, that's my discipline required. Sometimes you feel like, okay, forget it, it's okay. Today 5,000 steps is fine. No, 5,000 is not fine. If I've taken a decision to do 7 to 10,000, I will do. If I've taken a decision to go out for a walk after with my wife after lunch meal and dinner meal, it's a priority for me and I will do that, right? Prioritization and focus on the top values of your top values is very, very critical, because we do tend to forget what was our value system in the hustle bustle of our life. Okay. Now,
Wow.
it's important when we identify these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're very right, Mr. Nigam. You know, if we start living our life with principles, definitely life, there will be a blossom of a different kind. And I always say, live your life with the acronym DING: dignity, integrity, nobility, and grace. If we
There you
start
go.
living our life and with the non-negotiable principles, it's excellent. You know, of course, there are a lot of hardships. It's easier said than done. But when it falls on us, if we start following these, definitely we'll be a source of inspiration not only for our family but for others also. Wonderful talk. In conclusion, if you'd like to say something.
In conclusion, Harpreet, I would just throw 5 questions to the audience to ask
Okay.
them about these values. Then they will know exactly are they their values or not. The first one is, am I proud of my values? And can I live by them without fear of being laughed at by others? Very important. Very, very important. Okay. Second, are my values non negotiables while taking my life's decisions? When I moved to from Singapore to Canada, it was non negotiable. I said, whatever happens, I will face it and we'll embrace it and we'll ride over it. But you know what? My priorities are very clear. I want to get the best North American life and culture to my family, period. Okay. The third question, which I want people to ask is, am I comfortable sharing my values with others?
Right.
Okay. Especially with people I love and respect. You may have your values hidden in the last page of a diary, but are scared of talking about it and even sharing it, exposing yourself to a ridicule in front of others. If that is the case, it's not your value system.
Right.
You're scared of your value system. So you need not be scared of your value system if that is a real value. Now, will I stand by my values even if it requires me to go against the majority? I gave you that example in my job. Even if it requires you to go against the majority, will I stand by it?
Stand for it.
And
Yeah.
yeah, the fifth point is, do I feel a feeling of fulfillment when I take decisions guided by my value system?
Right.
Okay, so these are the 5 questions we really need to ask ourselves, which will guide us. Yes, I know my values and I will stand by it, and I have found my compass of life.
Wonderful. Dileepji, it was a pleasure learning all this information from you. These are basic essentials of life, but many times we just sideline these. But thanks for reaffirming these values, because in this fast paced race life which we are living, we are just focused on a few essentials which we think are going to make us successful. But unless the foundation is strong, and foundation can be made strong only if we have those non-negotiable principles of life, and if we start adopting these, definitely we'll be more and more happier and successful also. Thank you very much for this perspective.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
invitation. Thank you.
ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਨ ਦਲੀਪ ਨਿਗਮ ਜੀ, ਇੱਕ ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਪੀਕਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਜੌਨ ਮੈਕਸਵੈਲ ਅਕੈਡਮੀ ਦੇ ਇਹ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਚਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਬਹੁਤ ਮਹੱਤਵਪੂਰਨ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਦਲੀਪ ਨਿਗਮ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੇਕਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਪਸ ਲੱਭ ਲਈਏ, ਕੰਪਸ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਬੇਸਿਕ ਐਸੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅਡਾਪਟ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਣਗੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਲੱਭ ਸਕਨੇ ਹਾਂ। ਹੈਪੀ ਮੂਮੈਂਟਸ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡੈਸਟ ਮੂਮੈਂਟ ਕੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ, ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਮੂਮੈਂਟਸ ਜਿਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰਡ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ। ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਟੌਪ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਭ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਡਾਪਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਹੈਗੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। there is lack of role models in the community today, but definitely if we start adopting these principles we can become those role models not only for our children but for the community also। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਆਗਿਆ ਲੈਣਾ ਜੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੋਏ or if you yourself want to be a part of this program, you can contact me anywhere in the world through WhatsApp at 604-603-7555 or you can email me at harpreetsingshow@gmail.com। The purpose of this program is to educate you, inspire you and to empower you, and that is why every evening at 6 p.m. we have different guests who speak on different topics. Once again, thank you very much for sparing your valuable time and being a part of this program. Have a wonderful evening, stay safe and enjoy yourself.